siege mode, you can see that the range is quite huge on that tank. They won't even be able to reach the bunker before that siege tank starts laying some serious shells with its Crucio shock cannon. 50 damage versus armored right there. This is actually getting kind of cluttered. Tons of stuff being produced at the same time. We see Vikings, tanks, Marines, one attack upgrade for those infantry, and an armory being produced. Meanwhile, I wish there were a building counting station so I could see the buildings of the Protoss, but it doesn't look like he's going to get those upgrades quite yet. We don't see a forge on the way, instead opting for more gateways, more unit producing structures to mass up that army. Zealot Legs is almost done from the Twilight Council, and we do see that the extended thermal lens is being researched, and that takes actually quite a bit of time. 140 seconds. He's probably got a chrono boost going down on there. Oh, actually, he doesn't. Could probably use it though, he's got some spare energy. Either way, looks like he's going to be sort of slowly arcing towards this. Got a nice pylon there for easy reinforcements. It looks like Terran's going to be engaging. I don't think he knows about this huge army though. He's going to have to back out. The tanks actually, okay, good. He got the tanks sieged up in time. Took out the pylon, and now he's going to be taking out those destructible rocks. Kind of a wasted stim there as the Protoss backs out. But it's always handy to get these down. We see a sensor tower going up. This is great. He's going to be able to see these units if they do choose to swing around here for a backstabbing attack on his natural expansion. And meanwhile, we see that a command center is being placed here. The factory is going to be produced, as well as another barracks. We do have the forge going down. Ooh, and a building that was trying to be constructed gets totally owned. The Zealots are swinging around for this attack. They can wrap around those SCVs so fast with that charge. This could be extremely damaging. The Colossi racking up tons of kills. And it looks like the engagement's coming. The tanks are sieged up, stimming, but the Zealots are doing huge damage. Oh man, this is a close battle. I don't know who's going to come out on top. The siege tanks are laying waste to those units. The Stalker is all that's left, and it is going to get slaughtered instantly. Terran came out way on top in that battle, even landing the Vikings for good measure. At the same time, the Zealots at the front are going to try and snipe this planetary fortress that's morphing. I don't know how effective that's going to be. Well, now I do. Completely ineffective, so... Anyways, we do see an expansion going down here as a response to mouzNaama's planetary fortress, which is considerably ahead, however. So, actually, I'd like to see him siege up these tanks a bit. Don't like leaving those out in the open like that. Meanwhile, at the Protoss base, we do see that he's lost quite a bit more than Terran, probably because of that horrible engagement, losing the Colossi. But he's now opting for some High Templar tech. And this is the new style of Protoss that we've been seeing. Tons of players are opting for mass High Templar just so they can storm away. The storm is being researched, as well as the plus attack for his ground army. These Zealots working on the destructible rocks right there. 2 more charge in. Bunch of Vikings coming down though. mouzNaama could be engaging here. The siege tanks are setting up a siege line. He forced a cancel on the Nexus, and we see tons of Zealots and High Templar being morphed in, completely abandoning Colossus tech, which is probably not a bad idea versus the tanks, which do deal extra wow, I'm trying to combine 50 words at once. They do deal extra damage versus armored, and the Zealots are coming in. They could be... Oh, they charge in, but they're clumping up on the ramp. Not what you want to do against the siege tanks. Huge storms being dropped. The Immortal is going against the Vikings, dealing massive damage. But it is very clear right now that Terran is in the lead. There's more Zealots being warped in at the last second to try and do something, but they're getting slowed down by those concussive shells. 4 Stalkers being brought in, but the tanks, doing bonus damage, are still shelling away. Terrible, terrible damage being dealt here, and now the Natural's under attack. They're going straight for the Nexus. I don't know if that's what I'd be doing. The Immortal pops out, and he's going to be able to repel those Marauders for now. But it looks like Terran has put himself in a great position. Siege tanks are moving up and edging closer. He accidentally loads up a medevac, and the Stalkers are now all that's standing between the Terran army and this Protoss base. We actually see that he's macroing a huge army back home at the same time. This could be devastating. Even though this army got taken out and eventually repelled, save this one siege tank, which is still going unnoticed, he's already got a huge army back at home. Hallmark of any good player, they never stop macroing, constantly producing units. They're going to meet these Stalkers, which are going to be forced to be backed out if they want a chance at survival here. A little bit of lag. I'll be fixing that within a week. Please note, very sorry for that. And we actually see level 2 weapons and level 1 vehicle weapons on the way. This planetary fortress is racking in huge amounts of money. If we look at the income tab, Terran is almost doubling the Protoss. So while Protoss does still have some chance, it's getting extremely difficult. He's desperately warping in. This is not a Zerg army. He's warping in more units. He's going to try to take down those rocks. It's really his last bastion of hope, but Terran playing so smart, he's going to expand on his lead, getting another command center down at his natural third. It's going to be one base ahead at least for the Terran, assuming that Protoss takes this. One Marine is going to scout that out, though. We see that the supply discrepancy is absolutely huge right now. We can see that the army, if we look at the army tab, Terran's ahead by approximately 50 units. It's going to be pretty tough to recover from that. Even putting down some supply depots here. This is not because he's supply blocked. It's actually just a measure to keep your siege tanks safe. These can actually sometimes clump up those zealots more when they charge in. So pretty good play. Sometimes you see bunkers going down, and we have three sensor towers. You can see all over the minimap right there. He's going to be prepared for an attack from any angle. The tanks here, he's just probably going to be content to get those upgrades out and then push out. We see more, but an engagement is coming. The tanks are not sieged. This could be bad if he doesn't get those up in time. The zealots are swarming in, but the siege tanks go up. Huge storm being put down, though. Storms all over the place, actually. Massive amounts of storms, dealing tons of damage versus the infantry. But I don't think it's going to be enough. It is not. One Stalker's caught off guard, and its life quickly ends in a massive explosion of blue electricity. Meanwhile, the Nexus is finally going up, but I think it's too little too late for the Protoss player, whose supply is now less than half of the Terrans. And this could be the final push of death from the Terran army. He sieges up the tank. These storms are going to have to be epic to do anything here. They are epic, but they're not enough. They are not enough, and I would be expecting a GG here any second now. As the last bastion of hope is taken out, even the probes are joining the battle. GG! mouzNaama takes the game in a very convincing fashion. Excellent use of the tanks. I really think this whole game came down to that one battle right here. The Protoss engaged at a horrible angle. The Terran army was able to get a nice big arc right around there that allowed the siege tanks to do huge damage versus the clumped up units, and against the tank, which does area of effect damage, that is not what you want to do. The Protoss typically wants to engage more at a better angle, like right here, so it's spread out while the Terran is clumped up. So I do think that's what this game came down to. It was absolutely a joy for me to cast. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think. If there's anything you'd like to see in future casts, I will be doing the last matchup next time, the Protoss versus Zerg, to keep my channel balanced. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed your daily dose of Ownage. See you guys!